CD Week in Quincy is the week of April 21st this year. Sean Glennon, Rhiannon Gorham are here to tell us all about it from the City of Quincy's Community Planning and Development Department. Welcome.
Thank you.
Happy CD Week.
And to you. Thanks
It's
for having
here.
us.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. It's getting to be a regular now here.
Yeah, my 20 years.
Has it been that long?
20th CD week in City of Quincy. Yeah,
Wow.
it goes
But
by.
the program itself, though, is even older than that, right?
Yeah, 50 years old this year.
The
as a matter of
Community
fact,
Development Block Grant Week is
yeah,
50 years
yeah,
this year?
Especially appropriate year to celebrate it.
Indeed, yeah. What is it?
Well, Community Development Block Grant is probably the most well-known program that we offer in the City of Quincy. Like I said, it's been around since the mid-'70s, and it provides funding for a whole host of activities across the city. Community center programs, youth programs, senior programs, food pantry assistance, economic development programs, street and sidewalk repair. I mean, you name it, pretty much CDBG can fund it. And so over the past 50 years, Quincy's received over $102 million in CDBG funding. Again, this is the 50th anniversary year, and so we have a great calendar of events to really celebrate the program and what we're still doing these days with the program.
Yeah, this is federal funds, right? Federal grants. It's not a loan. Don't have to pay back. There's no interest on it. It's just grants to communities.
It's a grant, yes, from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, specifically their Office of Planning and Community Development.
How much is the city getting this year, Sean?
Well, we hope it'll be 1.7 million, which
Okay.
would be sort of level funded. That's what we've been told.
Yeah.
As that level funding kind of across the board, which is not surprising given the certainly federal climate,
Right.
across the country.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it, when the
Oh,
the
really?
grant agreement comes through. I'm
Okay.
looking forward to seeing that hopefully any day now. Things are
Okay.
a little bit delayed this year, but we should be on track to have another good year starting July 1st.
Okay, starting July 1st, so the new fiscal year.
Correct.
Okay, is when the new grant funding comes in.
Right.
Talk a little bit about what funds have been used for in the past, or what's kind of visual throughout the city that folks might not be aware of.
Yeah, well, some of the things, again, with street and sidewalk repair, those things are happening across the city.
Right now, especially.
Yeah, exactly. So people know that it's happening, but they might not know certainly that CDBG funds are used
Yes.
for some of that. And so we use them in low and moderate income neighborhoods. That's specifically where we'd have to use our funds. Other things might include the senior transportation program through the Council on Aging. That's something that is subsidized through the CDBG program. Other big projects over the years have included the purchase of the former St. Boniface Church in Germantown, which is converted to the Germantown Neighborhood Center. Also, the purchase of the detox facility in Wollaston. That was we helped provide procure that
Okay.
for the Gavin Foundation.
Yes. Old Colony Avenue there. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And then this year, celebrating the Fort River Clubhouse in Quincy Point, $1 million allocation of CDBG funds to renovate that facility.
Wow.
Yeah, on
Oh.
top of, I know it's been in the news over the past few years,
Yeah.
for the accessible playground outside, which was the first
Yes.
fully accessible playground in the city. Certainly a substantial amount of funds used to renovate the ball fields over there through the community preservation program
Yep.
and some local for-profit companies that we certainly appreciate their corporate support.
Sure.
But this allocation is specifically for the building itself, bringing it up to code, ADA compliance, and replacing the roof for some of the big items.
It's over 100-year-old building, and it was in pretty tough shape, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the oldest city-owned community center, in the city, and so
Oh.
it's time for time for some love.
It
So.
needed a little refresh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So is it done? Is the work done now?
No,
No.
still in progress.
Okay.
And so actually, this is reason why it's next week is we want to kind of showcase some of the work that's been done.
Yes.
The event we're having next Thursday will be with Mayor Koch and Congressman Lynch to take him on a site tour so he can see the federal funds that he has allocated to the program and
Right.
see what's been done so far, but also the need for additional funding for the
Oh,
site.
okay, very good. So now, has the 1.7 million, has that been pretty steady for the past several years, or is that
Year to
gone
year,
down,
it's
or-
pretty steady.
Yeah.
Actually, the high point was in 2004
Yeah.
when the allocation was $2.4 million.
Wow.
And so 1.7, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But our allocation was also 1.7 in the late 70s.
Okay.
And a dollar certainly went a lot further in the late 70s
Oh, for sure.
than it
Yeah.
does today. Not to mention, obviously, inflation.
Yep.
But also there are a lot of cross-cutting federal requirements that are involved with
Mm.
these types of programs, making sure workers are paid prevailing wage, environmental review, issues. So I'm certainly in favor of those things, but it just means that things cost more and take
Yeah.
longer to do.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of surprised because the last federal census was 2020, right? So I think it was delayed because of the pandemic. But city's population exceeded 110,000, right?
Over around
101,000, yeah.
yes. And the numbers do matter. The population matters,
Yeah.
and the age of housing stock matters. But what's happened is over the past 50 years, while the federal allocation for the program has increased by 50%, the number of communities that qualify for the program has increased by 100%.
Oh.
And so there are more communities vying for a slice of the pie.
So the pie is being cut slimmer and slimmer.
Exactly. So
Okay.
while the allocation has gone up a little bit
Yep.
each year, or at least somewhat, there have been increments. It hasn't stayed with basically the level of inflation
Yep.
and the need with more communities coming online.
More people eating the same pie.
Exactly.
So there's less pie to go around.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's up to your office then to kind of stretch those dollars as far as they can go, right?
Right, and also
Yeah.
and certainly advocate, through our partners like Congressman Lynch to
Yes.
help, support increased funding for that program. And he's been a, staunch advocate. We certainly appreciate his support, but he's one of 535
Well,
members
right.
of Congress that
They're all
that gives
advocating.
funding. So, exactly.
Yeah. Does every community get CDBG funds?
Every community that has a population of 50,000 or more
Yep.
is eligible.
Okay.
But it starts with a 5-year consolidated plan and then annual action plans that HUD has to approve.
Okay.
And so some communities, due to just the level of involvement and what that takes, some choose not to apply for it.
Sure. They don't have a Sean Glennon and Rhiannon Gorham, right?
Exactly.
To
there's
do that work.
there's
yeah.
an admin cap on the grant, and
Yeah.
so if you're a community that's just on the cusp of 50,000
Yeah.
people, the admin amount might not support even a full-time person to
Yeah.
run it.
So, as a matter of fact, I know that Quincy has helped some surrounding communities with that effort, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And in fact, with the Home Consortium
Yeah.
is one of those. We're a 5-member consortium, or 6 now. We just brought on Randolph actually as of last July 1st. And that's a program that is used to create, maintain, and preserve affordable housing. And so Quincy's the lead of that community,
Very
that
good.
program. And that's another HUD CPD program that we do sometimes celebrate during CD Week if we have a groundbreaking or ribbon cutting
Yep.
for affordable housing projects.
Yep.
But CDBG is sort of the focus this year due to the 50th anniversary.
Absolutely, yeah. So you have a new member of your department, Sean, that you've brought along.
We do.
Yeah.
A new, although she's not new to Quincy. In fact, Rhiannon was a partner of ours through Quincy College when she worked there
Oh.
several years ago. One of the first things we did with economic development with the college was to fund a job training program, and actually Rhiannon was our liaison with the college at the time.
Oh, is that right?
And we brought her on this past August, and it's sort of like in a way coming home or coming back to Quincy. She's a perfect fit for what we're doing now with our continued economic development and job training programs with the college and with the Quincy Chamber and Cubic. So she's a perfect fit for what we need.
Oh, that's great,
Yeah.
Rhiannon. So welcome. Very
Thank
good.
you, thank
Yeah,
you.
welcome. How's it been going so far?
So far, so good. Just
Yeah.
kind of, I guess, learning, like Sean had mentioned, I kind of was on the subrecipient end previously, so kind of learning the other part of it now. So yeah, it's been good, just kind of learning a lot of that stuff, timelines of things, kind of what goes on throughout the year. So far, so good.
Yeah, very good. This is your first CD week in your new position.
Yes, yep,
Okay.
in my new position. Like Sean had mentioned before, the college a few years ago had participated in an event a couple of years ago, probably at this point. So I was kind of involved on that end, but this is my first time, CD week, where we're kind of running it on the city end.
Yeah. So what will be happening this year in Quincy
Yeah.
for CD week?
So we have a lot of, I think, fun community-based events, kind of focusing on some of our more public service partners or agencies that we work with. So Monday, our kickoff is a podcast with Quincy College. We fund or give funding to certain students for tuition fees for a few programs, Farm Tech being one of them.
It's a big one this time.
Yeah, it's great. They have an instructor over there who's great. She also works at Mass General,
Oh.
is an education coordinator over there. She coordinates the program at Quincy College. Her name is Charlotte. She's going to be, or she's our podcast guest, and she's going to talk about the Farm Tech program at Quincy College, and we talk a little bit about how you can apply if you're a student that meets the criteria of receiving this funding and kind of how that works. So that's our kickoff event.
Okay.
That will be Monday. We have a link for it on our social media.
Oh, okay, of
Yep,
course, yeah.
yep, yep.
We'd like to mention we're a partner here at QATV because the podcast is produced here. right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
And who's the producer?
That would be Kate in our office. Kate, so she, Kate did it last week, And like I said, it'll be live on Monday for everyone to watch. I think we have it set for like 10 a.m. on Monday.
Okay, all right. And then thereafter as well, right?
Yeah, yep,
Given
yep,
nature
yep,
of podcast, you can
yep,
listen to it
yep,
anytime.
whenever you want.
Exactly. So that will feature the pharmacy technician program?
Yeah, so we'll
Okay.
feature Charlotte Hook, who is the program coordinator and the lead instructor over there as
Okay.
well.
All right. How long is the podcast? Do you know, just roughly? Even?
I think it's about 30 to 45 minutes or
Okay,
so, yeah.
just so folks can set aside the
Yep,
time.
yep,
Okay,
yep.
Very good. So that's your kickoff event, 10 a.m.,
Yes,
right?
yep.
Monday the 21st,
Yep.
okay.
Tuesday, we are having the Asian American Service Association, which is based out of the Wollaston Lutheran Church.
Oh.
Hancock Street is putting on, some of the seniors there are putting on a cultural performance. They're going to have traditional costume, traditional dance, so anyone that is around, we'd love to have come over there.
Okay.
That'll be a kind of a shorter event, probably about 10 or 15 minutes. They're going to do a couple performances and talk a little bit about the history of the dances that they're performing, so that will be a nice event. The Asian American Service Association is one of the public services that we do help fund through the grant. So they're a really important partner for us in the city, and they do a lot of good work there. Wednesday, we are, the House Neck Community Center does a senior luncheon a few times a week. They are doing it on Wednesday, so we're going to just pop over there, talk to some of the seniors, get some of their input, what's going on in the city, what they would like to see the grant kind of used for. They do a lot of games, and we kind of just go there and network and chit chat a
Yes,
little bit
Cynthia
with them.
Sierra runs that like a top.
Yes, yes.
And has
Yep,
for many
yep,
years, yeah.
yep.
It's very active,
So
very
they
close-knit
have-
community
yeah,
over there. Yeah.
Yep. And then Thursday is, we have two kind of big events. I guess it's kind of like our culminating event for the week. So Thursday during the day, we're doing a public services summit, and what that kind of is we are bringing together all the public and social service agencies in the city. So Father Bill's, Quincy Asian Resources, the different community centers, South Shore YMCA. So this is open to, or we invited anyone that receives that public services funding from us, but that also just operates in the city as a public service. So that is going to be a chance for all of the people that work with the different community members to talk about what their organization does. It's kind of like a professional development, I guess, for them.
Okay.
To talk about what each agency does, the services they can provide, how they can
Okay.
kind of share each other's services. And then they're going to have Counselor Ash is going to be there to give a welcome message and kind of talk about the Four River Clubhouse. And then Chief Kennedy will be there later in the day to talk about community policing and how the community policing team can help those different public and social service agencies. So
Okay.
that will be a really good event, again, aimed towards the public and social service agencies and some of our economic development partners in the city.
So that's from noon to 3:15, it says.
Yeah,
on the schedule.
yeah, that will be
Okay.
during the day.
Okay.
And then at 4 is the kind of culminating event that Sean had mentioned, which is our 50th CDBG anniversary, again at the Four River Clubhouse, and that will be with Mayor Koch and Congressman Lynch and some other folks in the city.
Okay.
And again, just kind of to Sean's point, that's just to show the work that's been put into the Four River Clubhouse. Again, we're going to highlight some of those different public and social service agencies that have put so much work into the city as well, and just to highlight kind of where the money has gone in both Quincy and the state as a whole.
Okay.
So that's kind of our big event, and then
That's
Friday,
the main event, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
Friday, our Office of Healthy Homes will be at the Kennedy Center to talk about the different like housing rehabs, lead abatement, housing programs that we have for anyone that's interested in that as well.
Okay.
So Friday, that will be our last event for the week.
Okay, and that's 9:30 to 12:30
Yes.
at the Kennedy
Yep,
Center.
at the Kennedy Center.
Okay, so really there is something going on every single day
Yeah.
for someone to take part. These are all free, right?
Yep, yep, yep,
If we're open to the community?
yep, yep.
Okay. And is there a way folks can learn about these different events?
So we're gonna, I believe today is gonna be our kickoff to our kind of social media campaign
Oh,
where we're
okay.
gonna be posting these. So if any folks follow our office's social media, we did put out a press release in the Quincy Sun. Hopefully it's out in there now. But I also, anyone can contact me as well. So
Okay.
Rhiannon Gorham, my contact info should be on the city website. But if anyone wants to attend the events or had questions about them, they can email me.
Okay, very good. And I'm assuming you'll both be at these events
Yeah.
as well throughout
Yeah, we
the-
Yeah.
split it. Actually, it's a great
Yeah.
week
Yeah.
for the whole department to kind of get out in the community and see what's happening. 'Cause
Yeah.
We tend to be, in the office, we're applying for the grants, we're getting them out. But
Sure,
we
there's a
don't
lot of
always-
paperwork that goes with this.
Yeah.
There is a lot, and so it's nice to get out there and see what we're funding, and,
Yeah.
and kind of putting a face to the name, and same for the subrecipients too.
Right.
Good chance to get some feedback and meet the people that are benefiting from the program. I also want to give Rhiannon a huge pat on the back for organizing this a week. This is a huge lift to put these events together and coordinate with the nonprofits.
I'm sure.
But that symposium in particular,
The Public Service Summit?
that is going to be a phenomenal event,
Yeah.
and it's something that that Rhiannon did with a small event a couple of months ago with a kind of a small breakfast at City Hall to sort of welcome back some of the nonprofits and other city departments that we had worked with in the past and still work with now.
Yeah.
But it was something that we used to do on a regular basis,
Oh.
once or twice a year,
Okay.
pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that those were shut down.
Yes.
And so that first one she did a couple months ago was the first one in several years, and the feedback we received was unbelievable.
Is that right?
And what we realized that there's been so much turnover within these agencies over
Yeah.
the past few years that people have lost contact with each
Connections,
other.
yeah.
And so these relationships that used to exist
Yep.
have
Are
fallen
gone.
by the wayside.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be a phenomenal way for these nonprofits and our local partners to really reconnect and re-engage, and I'm very excited for what it's going to mean for the
Yeah.
future.
Well, again, that's Thursday the 24th, noon to 3:15 at the Four River Clubhouse. And I mean, right off the top of my head, I can think of several, social service, interfaith social services. You mentioned Father Bill's. There's Quincy Community Action Programs. There's Bay State Community Services. There's the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
So many, within the city for them to connect and kind of network and make sure they're not overlapping services as well, so they're being the most effective for their own constituents, right?
Yeah,
to put
exactly,
their
yeah.
dollars to the best possible use as possible. Yeah.
And they're all invited too, not just the ones that we fund.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And that's kind of the point, is that if they don't receive CDBG funding, and some don't apply because, again, for the hassle, so they
Sure.
don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they can't attend and still learn
Okay.
from other local nonprofits.
Well, a lot of them are small budgets. They have maybe one or two full-time employees. That they're all volunteer-based, so they don't have the resources to be able to go after those funds. But to be able to connect with each other at this kind of a forum, and maybe for the first time go to the Four River Clubhouse for a lot of them as well, right? And learn about Quincy Point area that they might not be familiar with.
Exactly.
So there's that as well. Yeah. It sounds like it's going to be a great week. It really does. And is it always, Sean? Is it always this week in April? This third week in April?
Well, it's always the week after Easter.
Oh, okay.
And that's because that's when Congress is in recess.
So Congressman
and
Lynch can
so-
come and-
Exactly. And so there's just a better chance.
It's a logistical thing.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, you got to
Yeah,
take that into
and it
account.
was, this event in general is the brainchild of the National Community Development Association.
Which I know you were very active in,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm on the board. Quincy's been a member for a very long time.
Yep.
And so this was something that started probably 35 years ago, CD Week itself,
Okay.
to sort of, highlight the program and
Mm.
to encourage members of Congress to continue support for it. And so it's just natural that it would happen during a week when Congress is
One
and,
can actually come and talk to you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At their home. So.
Did you want to talk about some other grants that the city gets through HUD? We have some time.
Well, I mentioned the home
Yeah.
one. That is the one that's dedicated for affordable housing. That's the one where Quincy is the lead of the home consortium.
Yep.
And then another one that folks probably don't really know about is called the Emergency Solutions Grant, and that historically has been used for emergency shelter.
Oh.
So for a long time, for the first several years, that was going exclusively to Father Bill's
I
Place
see.
on Broad Street.
Yep.
And then in more recent years, they've opened it up to other categories like homelessness prevention, so rental assistance and things like that. And so now we've kind of broadened it a little bit. So QCAP now is a recipient as well to help us with that part of it.
Sure.
Try to catch people before they become homeless, which is
Correct.
a key piece.
Yep.
That's a much smaller grant. It's only $150,000.
Okay.
But again, it's something. So some part of it goes to the shelter. Now the housing resource center on Broad Street, which
Yes.
is much more of a wraparound.
Oh my gosh. Night and
that's-
day,
It's a
yeah.
national model.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. And then some for QCAP for that other piece. So those are the three entitlement programs sort of that fall under that category. And then we're also the lead of what's called the Continuum of Care, which is a much larger group from Quincy down to Wareham, and that pot of money ranges from $10 to $12 million a year, but that's competitive. That's
see.
not entitlement, and
Okay.
so that's a much even bigger application, if you can believe that.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
it's kind of more of a year-round process applying for those funds in partnership again with Father Bill's in Mainspring, also Family Community Resources in Brockton, and the Old Colony Y
Oh, okay.
down on the South Shore as well.
Yeah, so a lot to do, a lot going on. And Rhiannon, do you know what you got yourself into?
A little bit. Finding out quickly.
Yeah.
Baptism by fire, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah. Anything else we should add right now?
No, I mean, just anyone that wants to take advantage of any of the events, especially I think the one on Tuesday at the Asian American Service Association is a great one. They've been working on it for a little over a month now, so if anyone's in that area, I think that'd be a great one for people in the community to kind of check out.
10 a.m. at the Wollaston Lutheran Church. Okay. And will there be refreshments after, do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah, I'll
You know,
be
you
just,
work up a sweat
I'll
dancing.
be as surprised as anyone else. So yeah, I guess you'll have to go to find out.
All right, very good.
Good plug. And we want to thank you as always. You know,
Oh.
the partnership with QATV and helping us get the word out for these events. It's crucial. That's what this week is all about. It's about spreading the word. And so we want to thank you again and everyone here for the help.
Thank you. We're happy to help, for sure. That's absolutely what we love to do here as well. So have a fun week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for watching us here at AEM Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. See you next time.